The skill nobody taught you. Garner's Conversationally Speaking on Why Good Talk is a Science, Not a Gift. Have you ever watched someone win a stranger's trust in 3 sentences, while you stood there tongue-tied, watching the moment slip away? Most of us blame personality. I'm just not a people person, we say. But a book that has sold over 1 million copies says that excuse is wrong. The book is Conversationally Speaking by Garner. Garner is a communication consultant who has run hundreds of conversation workshops. His book is often called the most popular conversation textbook in the world. His core claim is simple and a little liberating. Being good at talking is not a talent you're born with. It's a skill, backed by real research in psychology, that anyone can learn. Garner's gift is turning those studies into moves you can use tonight. Over the next few minutes, we'll walk from starting a conversation, to praising people so they feel seen, to saying no without burning the bridge, the practical toolkit this book hands you. Part 1. Ask like you mean it, praise like you mean it. Let's start with the one habit that quietly kills most conversations. Asking the wrong kind of question. Garner tells the story of Scott, a 52-year-old building contractor who said chatting with people felt like torture. He worked hard to find topics and fired off question after question. The answers kept coming back as, yeah, fine, same old. After a few rounds, Scott felt less like he was talking and more like an FBI agent interrogating a suspect. The problem was never that Scott was cold or dumb. It was the type of question. There are really only 2. Closed questions are like true or false prompts. Are you from the north? Can we eat at 6? They get you a one-word answer and slam the door. Open questions invite a story. Instead of, do you work late a lot? You ask, what got you into programming in the first place? Or, of every project you've shipped, which one are you proudest of? A good open question carries a quiet message. I'm actually interested in you, not just filling silence. Garner's cheat sheet is almost funny. If your question starts with, is it, are you, or can you, it probably kills the talk. If it starts with how, why, or how did you, it probably opens the floodgates. Questions start the engine. Praise is the lubricant. Garner leans on a finding from psychology. We repeat behavior that gets rewarded. Want a teammate to speak up more? Praise the one good idea instead of criticizing the 10 weak ones. And there's a 3-step formula for a compliment that actually lands. First, be specific. Never you look nice. But that blue dress brings out your eyes. Second, use the person's name. We all love the sound of our own. Third, and this is the master move, follow with a question. Most people, when praised, freeze and mumble, oh, it was nothing. And the moment dies. Hand them a step. Lao Wang. This braised pork is incredible. That perfect balance of fat and texture. Better than the restaurant down the street. What's your secret? Specific, sincere, and it opens a door. Part 2. Listen like you mean it, and never run dry. Talking well is only half. The other half is hearing. Garner uses a brutal image. Communication is a pipe that leaks. You start with 100 in your head. By the time the words leave your mouth, about 20 points have leaked. Noise and distraction take another 20 as the other person hears it. Their own experience and mood filter out 20 more. The 100 you meant arrives as maybe 40. That missing 60 is where every misunderstanding is born. The patch is active listening. It's not just ears up. It's restating in your own words what you heard the other person feel, then checking. A friend says, defeated, I'll never find a job. The usual reply is, don't give up, you'll get there. Active listening says, you sound really discouraged, almost hopeless. Is it because you've sent out so many resumes and heard nothing back? That one sentence says 2 things. I heard you and I'm trying to feel what you feel. If you're right, they relax into yes, exactly. If you're wrong, they correct you. Either way, you go deeper, faster, and skip the empty reassurance. The trap to avoid is the parrot. If they say, I'm so sad, and you echo you're sad, that's mimicry, not listening. You're after the meaning and the emotion underneath. Now the nightmare. The sudden silence, both people staring, brains blank. Garner's relief is that there is never truly nothing to say. In every reply, the other person hands you free information, details they offered that you never asked for. This buried treasure. At a dance, you compliment someone's moves and ask if they took classes. They say, actually this is my first time, but when I lived in Manhattan, I went out dancing every night. Free information. Manhattan, every night. Grab either, Manhattan must be amazing. Is the pace as frantic as they say? Or a casual, The waves are huge today, pulls back. Reminds me of a storm on Lake Michigan. Pure gold. You know Lake Michigan well? Did you live there? The secret to never running dry is not inventing topics. It's catching the small detail they gave you for free and asking an open question about it. Part 3. Reveal yourself and break the ice. Good talk flows both ways like a game of ping pong. If you only dig into others and never share, you're a journalist, not a friend. The skill is self-disclosure, and it has 3 moves. Symmetry, match their level. Garner maps closeness in 4 layers. Small talk, facts, opinions, feelings. Where they are, you meet them. They say nice weather, you don't unload. I've been anxious lately. They share, I do design. You offer, I'm in marketing. The bond warms safely, 1 matched layer at a time. Association. When they say, I hiked last weekend, you connect, nice, I stayed home and watched movies. Felt like a cave dweller. You answered and revealed yourself. Led by example. Want their name? Don't interrogate. I'm Xiao Ming, and you? Want their take on a film? I thought the ending felt rushed. What did you think? You put your card on the table first, and a one-way extraction becomes an equal trade. And here's the upgrade. Don't just list facts. Share the story and feeling behind them. I'm an accountant is dead. I'm an accountant, and sometimes I look at those numbers and remember each one is someone's rent or grocery money, and my stomach tightens. But the best part is taking a messy ledger and snapping every figure into place like a puzzle. That moment is pure joy. Now you're a person, not a job title. Then there's the wall everyone hits. The first line. Garner's freeing idea, what you say first matters far less than the fact that you said something. A perfect opener doesn't multiply your odds. Saying nothing keeps them at 0. So stop auditioning your line and just speak. 3 sources for that line. Shared environment is safest. At the store, excuse me, how do you usually cook this? Talking about them, after a glance, I see the band logo on your shirt. Did you catch their show last month? Talking about yourself with nerve. Hi, I'm Xiao Ming. I saw you across the room and figured I should come say hello. Psychologists find that directness, because it's honest, leaves the deeper impression. Part 4. Disagree without burning the bridge. Sooner or later, friction comes. Someone says, you did a terrible job, or you never think of anyone but yourself. Our reflex is to stiffen and pick a fight. Deny it, excuse it, or fire back. All 3 just pour fuel. Garner's social tai chi has 2 counterintuitive moves. First, turn the adjective into a verb. Criticism usually arrives as a fuzzy label. You're so irresponsible. You can't catch that. So don't defend. Investigate like a calm reporter. When I seemed irresponsible, which moment specifically? That invites them to swap the label for a fact. You promised the report and didn't send it this morning. The fight shifts from, you are a bad person, to the report is late. And now there's something to solve. Second, agree smartly. This is the master stroke, and it has 2 forms. Agree with the fact, if it's undeniable. They say you left your socks on the floor. And the disarming reply is, you're right, they are on the floor. Their whole prepared counterattack lands on nothing, and the anger drains. Or, agree they have a right to their opinion, when the criticism is subjective. A friend frowns at your gossip magazine and says, this trash is so pointless. You don't argue what pointless means. You say, I get that it's not your taste, but I find it fun and relaxing. The subtext, I don't share your view, but I fully respect your right to hold it. Sometimes you're the one who needs something to change. The broken record method says no without a debate. A friend pushes a heavy dinner you don't want. The barbecue sounds great, but I'm sticking to my eating plan. They push, just this once. You don't argue just this once. You repeat, like a skipping record, it's just once, but I'm still sticking to my plan. No matter how many reasons they stack, you never enter the debate. You cannot lose a debate you never joined. And to ask for change, use the 4-step formula. Describe the behavior like a camera. Not you're so cold to me, but when I talk to you, you keep looking at your phone. State the consequence. It makes our conversation feel impossible to continue. Share the feeling, I feel a bit hurt, like I'm not being heard. Make the request, so could you put the phone down while we talk? That turns a complaint into a clear, buildable request. Part 5. Your body speaks first, and the real enemy is in your head. Everything above is words. But Shakespeare noted we give 2 speeches at once, one heard, one seen. That second speech is body language. Garner's warning. Communication is unavoidable. Even silent, your face and posture broadcast. And when your words and your body disagree, people believe the body every time. A woman named Julie says, "So nice to meet you," with crossed arms and darting eyes, and broadcasts, "Stay away," so nobody gets close. The toolbox has 6 tools. A real smile, the kind that creases the eyes, is the fastest passport to warmth. Garner once thought she looked fascinated, then saw her own face in a mirror and realized she looked miserable. An open posture. Uncross those arms, let them hang, look relaxed and reachable. Lean in to say what you're saying matters. Appropriate touch, a firm handshake, a light congratulatory pat. Eye contact, friendly and natural. Avoiding it reads as nervous or dishonest. And nod, slowly and in time, to say, "I'm with you, keep going." Use these on purpose and your body speaks for you. Fun twist from the research. Strike those friendly poses, and your own mood actually lifts. The last boss is the one inside. Plenty of people know all the moves and still freeze. Sweaty palms, blank mind, the moment they walk into a room. Garner's disruptive claim. What makes us nervous is never the situation itself, but the catastrophic story we tell about it. The event is neutral, our thoughts color it. He names 4 irrational beliefs we can fire. Fortune-telling, we rehearse being laughed at, sure the sky will fall. Then ask, how likely is that worst case, and is it really that bad? Downgrade terrifying to a bit unlucky. Overgeneralizing, one awkward moment becomes, "I'm just shy." A permanent label that excuses every retreat. Hunt the counterexamples. Are you shy with everyone, always? Perfectionism. Waiting until you're 100% ready, or judging everyone as flawed. Accept that perfect is the enemy of good, and imperfect connections are the only kind worth having. And blame shifting, the escape move. Stop handing the cause to talking to strangers. The real power is noticing your own beliefs and arguing back. Closing, success is one step, not one perfect line. That's the whole toolkit of conversationally speaking. But as Garner warns at the start, you don't learn to ski by reading about it, and you won't become smooth overnight from one video. Between knowing and doing sits the only step that counts. Action. So don't set a foggy goal like, "I want to be more social." Set one tiny, concrete thing for this week. Give one specific compliment to a coworker, or ask one open question of a stranger at the next gathering. And remember what success means here. It's not the other person's response. It's that you stepped forward. Beating the first inertia is the hardest and most important move of all. May the end of this video be the start of your new social life. If Conversationally Speaking gave you one move to try this week, tell me in the comments. Are you going to open with a question? Or just say hello? I read every one.